Hello, everyone. I'm James Milan. Welcome to the Town Hall Update as we move our way through December. I am joined, as always, by our Town Manager, Sandy Pooler. Sandy, happy almost holidays to you.
Happy almost holidays to you too, James.
I'm not sure if it feels like that at all to you just yet, but hopefully soon enough. So we've got a number of things, as always, to talk about today, and I did notice a theme, with one notable exception among the topics. I did notice a theme that we're looking at the flow of money here today, into and out of people's pockets and the town's pockets as well. So let's start, if you don't mind, by talking about the fact that we have been hearing about the rising electric rates that we can anticipate. We've been hearing this for a while now, and now we have some actual numbers attached as EverSource rates have just come out. So, how do those compare with the town's community choice aggregation program, the Arlington Community Electricity? How do those rates compare to each other?
Well, as many of you know who are listening, we engaged in something called municipal aggregation. So we as a town go out and buy electricity for all our residents to be able to essentially get their electricity through the town. Historically, we've had big savings on those rates compared to the ones that EverSource offers. And again, that is the case. So our standard basic rate here in Arlington is 17 cents per kilowatt hour, up to 19.8 cents per kilowatt hour, depending on how green your electricity is. EverSource just announced its new rates for the next 6 months, which are now 25.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So Arlington continues to be a good deal. It's our ACE program, and it is a very green program, and it is a much less expensive program. So we encourage people to stay in that program, or if you're not in it already, to opt in. It would be a good deal for you.
I'm feeling really good about the fact that we've been at 100% for our renewable energy option, which I guess must be that high of 19.8 cents. And that feels real good now that you've told us what EverSource is charging. So thanks for that. So let's move on to interest rates for the town. So what are the interest rates that the town is now receiving for its recent borrowing?
So we just borrowed a lot of money to fund the ongoing construction of the Public Works building and all of the capital projects that were voted at town meeting last spring. For our bonds, which are the long-term borrowing that we did over anywhere between 5 and 20 years for different size projects, we got an interest rate of 3.77%. And then we did some short-term borrowing, just a 1-year borrowing, to give us enough money to also finish the DPW building. Once we know the final price of that DPW building, once the project is completed construction next fall, we'll then sell long-term bonds for that. The interest rate on that was about 3%. So it shows in the market these days, we have what they call a very flat yield curve. The interest rates for short-term and long-term are very close to each other. We went out in December to sell these bonds. We usually go out in February, but we knew because the Federal Reserve was continuing to raise interest rates that we wanted to get out there as soon as possible. And we're very happy with the rates. They're much below what we had budgeted, so that's good for our capital plans and good for the taxpayers as well. So we're very happy with the rates. The other thing is that our bond rating was reaffirmed by Standard & Poor's as a AAA rating, which is the highest rating you can get. And they made several positive comments about the amount of reserves we have, how we manage the town, and our budgeting. Those are all available on the Treasurer's website for anybody who wants to see them. So all in all, some very good financial news.
Excellent news, really. Thanks for sharing that. And kudos to you, Sandy, because I know you are have been for a long time now, very much involved in these matters. And that is really, really good news as we all go into the holidays, something truly to celebrate.
Well, if I could, James, just give a shout out to our treasurer, Phyllis Marshall, our town accountant, Ida Cody, our town assessor, Dana Mann, and Julie Wayman, who does our budget. They were all the team that did the presentation to the Standard & Poor's and put all the budget documents together and the bond documents together. So I want to give them a shout out.
Excellent. Credit where it is due. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Okay, so last piece that we need to talk about in terms of in the kind of financial theme, and that is that I understand that there is a new online property assessment lookup tool. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So every year, the assessors have to go and look at all the property in town and make sure that it is valued at close to as possible to its so-called fair market value, what a piece of property would sell for if you sold it tomorrow. We publish that information on the town website. We have a new way of looking at that, which will allow anybody to go and look at not only the value of your own house, but of your neighbors' houses and so forth. It's a way that you can make sure that your property is fairly valued. If you look at it now, you will see last year's values, and by January 1st, we will have the new values that the assessors came out with for FY23. If you are considering maybe filing an abatement because you think that we misvalued your house, one of the best ways to determine whether there's some validity to that is to see if your house is valued similarly to other houses of the same type around you. And I always look, because I'm always curious to see, how my house value has gone up from year to year. Usually in the last few years, that's been a good sign. And so you can go to the assessor's webpage. There's a link there, and this replaces the old system that we had, and it comes directly from the company that we use to do all this and collect all this information. So it's a little bit different than how it's looked before, but still some great information.
Yeah, great information for homeowners around town. I'm sure that people will be taking advantage of this new opportunity again to empower themselves with the information they need. So again, more good news like that. And finally, we are going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about the most recent round of racial equity workshops that for town staff, as I understand them.
Well, that's right. In fact, I just came from a session today. This is the third session, 3 of 5 that we're having with all townside staff, where we're talking about our diversity, equity, and inclusion models. We are working with a company called Strategy Matters. They will continue these workshops through January. Arlington has been a leader on any number of issues. We were out front in terms of climate change. We were out front in terms of having social workers working with our police department on homelessness and drug issues. And we've been out front as a town on DEI issues. I think we're one of the few communities in the state that's trying to do training with all of our staff. I will say these are sometimes tough conversations to have. There's a diversity of experience and diversity of opinion, and trading back and forth people's experience. I think I will just say today was a tough session for some people. Is sometimes hard. I'm also very proud of the work that our staff is doing, participating in this. I think they're very important conversations to have. I think race and diversity issues have been at the heart of this country since our founding, and we still have not resolved them. So I'm very glad that we're doing this work.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Sandy. And I just want to add that, you're describing those conversations and the experience itself as sometimes tough for those who are participating. I cannot imagine that you can make any progress around this without that being the case. That's, again, another form of good news, although probably not for everybody as they're experiencing it, of course. It's so important now. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have we left anything out, or would you like to add anything before we sign off?
I do want to just make a comment about our snowstorm last Sunday. We had a kind of sudden snowstorm. It came in several hours earlier than the forecast had told us, and it came in right at sunset. So it meant that the ground had been, the roads in particular, had heated up. So the first snow melted, turned into water, and then the sun went down, and the rest of the snow then froze everything. So it was some of the iciest roads that I've ever seen, particularly up in the heights. We had 24 accidents. We called in our DPW crews much earlier than we had expected once we saw what was happening. And once they got out there and put the salt on the roads, we returned to blacktop pretty much immediately. But I know that a lot of people had a hard time Sunday. There were a lot of people out doing errands at that time of day. So I want to say we regret that that happened to people. We will continue to look at how we fight snow and ice. And I think the DPW did a very good job once they were out there. I think the forecast did change very quickly, so it was a challenge. And I just want to acknowledge that for people who had a hard time, but also I think give credit to the DPW for the work they did once they were able to get on the road and cleared things up quickly.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate confluence of unpredictable factors there. So hope that everybody got through that okay. And I'm sure that DPW will be taking lessons learned to the extent as possible forward from here. Okay, so I think maybe you want to finish up with a holiday greeting. I'm not sure.
I do. The temperature out there is reminding us that the holidays are approaching very quickly. So I want to wish everybody happy holidays, whatever holiday or multiple holidays you celebrate. I hope they are happy. I hope you have a chance to get together with family and friends and enjoy a very nice holiday season.
And we hope the same for you, Sandy. Thank you very much. I have been speaking with our town manager, Sandy Pooler, for this town hall update. Thanks so much to Sandy for his time as always, and thank you as well. I'm James Milan, and we will see you next time.